podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
All right, here with Tom. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you. How was yours?
Yeah, all right. Quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Lounging around, which is nice for a week before you get going again in the new year.
Yeah, perfect.
Enjoyed it and watched a bit of football. So always nice. The real stuff, not that World Cup nonsense.
Yeah, back to the basics.
Yeah. I guess we'll get onto the football in a bit, but Marcus Rashford scoring a brilliant goal and nearly getting a brilliant second as well. Didn't half remind me, thinking about the World Cup, of Gareth Southgate giving him 10 minutes in the World Cup quarter-final while chasing a goal. What on earth was he thinking?
Bringing on Sterling, who'd just flown back to the UK.
And had a day's training. Madness. Absolute madness. Anyway, there's a few things I thought we could talk about first. It's Alex's birthday, 81 years old. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to the great man.
I know he listens.
Yes, religiously.
Yeah, that's right.
He goes through...
Well, what's he got to do these days except for listen to podcasts? Surprised he hasn't got his own podcast, to be honest.
That is true. Maybe you could ask him on here. He could be one of the guests. Of the regular guests that comes on. Maybe he could replace me. Yeah, I mean, I would gladly step aside for a few weeks. I'd probably come back after a few weeks when people get bored of him, but I'd gladly step aside for the time being.
We could do some of his Harvard management courses, but on the pod.
Maybe less.
13 Premier League titles, twice did Champions League and Premier League doubles. Only manager to have done it. The Premier League, that is. I know football did exist before 1992. Only manager to have won it 3 times in a row. I think Pep might change that this season. Well, we'll see. Maybe not.
I don't know. Arsenal.
Yeah, great man, great manager. And then the other bit of news, sadly, Pelé has passed away. I think that one had been coming. He'd been ill for quite a while, and the rumours had been circulating that he was near the end. And we're both too young to have seen him play live, so it's hard to gauge how brilliant he was. But everyone of that generation says he's the best ever.
Yeah, it's almost like a mythical figure, Pelé, and I think there's been a lot of revisionism from over the years, especially like maybe the social media age of Pelé's greatness, because I guess a lot of that came from the jokey thing about him scoring 1,000 goals, and everyone used to say, loads of those were friendlies and stuff. But Adam Bate on SkySports.com, Adam Bate's a great writer in general, but he wrote a great article about Pelé and kind of debunking the myths regarding him, like a lot of the criticism that's obviously faced Pelé and his legacy for many years. And that's really, really great if people go and check that out, because it just kind of answers a lot of the questions that are surrounding his mythological figure. But from my understanding, he was unbelievable, and the people who've watched far more historical football than me would say he is, if not the best player of all time, the second best. Him and Messi are kind of the ones that people say to, because from what my understanding is, Pelé had everything about him. He scored shitloads of goals, but he was also a bit like Messi, incredible at everything else as well, and brutally good in the air. He wasn't a massive guy. He had everything about a footballer, and also he had the pizzazz that which kind of makes it even more exciting, that people speak of a lot about him. And yeah, I think, like I say, over the past 20 years or so, his legacy has kind of been tainted a little bit by myths. But yeah, he was truly one of the greatest, maybe the greatest.
I've consumed a fair bit over the last couple of days, just because I felt like it. Like when Maradona went, I felt like I was that generation, right? I saw everything of Maradona and knew how good he was. Pelé, not so much, but I mean, a couple of the things I enjoyed. The Netflix documentary is well worth it. It stops at 1970, which kind of feels a bit odd, but because he did carry on after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tim Vickery on Second Captains. It was a rebroadcast from his interview last year, but really well worth it. Talking about the man and the player holistically, and again debunking some of those myths. And then there's quite a bit of YouTube stuff. There's hardly any full matches on the World Cup. I've seen that final, 1970 final, a few times, I think, and I mean it feels like a completely different sport. Because they barely go above a walk in the whole game. I mean, it's boiling hot for a start. And then there's some stuff from his sort of peak period, which is the kind of early to mid 60s, 62, 63, when I think when he was still only 21 then, but people say that's the best of Pelé. And some great highlights from Santos's 5-2 victory at Benfica in the Intercontinental Cup, in which it looks like he's playing a different sport to everyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. Just, you've got like the Mr. Chumley Warner style football, them sort of juggling around, and then Pelé, who's just all touch and just brilliant turns and flicks and the acceleration to go with it. And that feels like that was the striker Pelé. And by the time we get to 1970, that he becomes the sort of the creator Pelé, doesn't he? And then he didn't go to the 74 World Cup, and I didn't know the story behind that actually. And a lot of that was him just not wanting to go. He thought he was past his best, even though he was only in his early 30s. By today's standards, you'd definitely go, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%.
But he thought he wanted to leave on a high. Anyway, there's some brilliant writing and stuff out there about Pelé that will do him more justice than we can. And then on the man, of course, I guess it's easy because he was a contemporary with Ali to say, hey, didn't speak out, the military junta in Brazil that killed thousands of people. Not quite as bad as in Chile where they were chucking people out of helicopters, but still, people got disappeared and he didn't say anything and he became a tool of the regime. But it's I guess we've probably got both a very Western and a very modern lens on that. And at the time, did he have the platform to speak out? Maybe not. And then the other criticism is that he didn't do enough on racial issues. Brazil deeply divided, of course. And again, it's very hard for me to make any kind of assessment there. It's like we weren't contemporaries. But those are the two main sort of criticisms of him as a man, alongside the football ones you mentioned. And then, of course, he sold the boner pills, didn't he? Which I think speaks to the other thing that Vickery goes into quite deeply, which is a man who grew up in terrible poverty and was almost obsessed with making money after that. And really only made any money once he moved to the States to join the New York Cosmos in the mid-70s. So.
Yeah, because he went bankrupt a couple of times before that. When he was at Santos, and they used him. Santos used him a lot to further their bank account, the club's bank account.
Right.
And there's a couple of times they pulled out of the Copa Libertadores because
in
they
order
just
to
wanted
play friendlies.
to just go on a ground hopping mission around the world, kind of playing on his name. So I think throughout his life, he did become used by people in the same way as Ali was used by a lot of the people around here. Ali was many times throughout his life like very, very poor. And I think the same thing was of Pelé as well. Like the people around him advising him were fleecing him essentially in the same way that Ali was fleeced. And yeah, I guess that in time kind of tainted his legacy and also I think made Maradona in contrast a lot more of an appealing person to get behind because he was anti-establishment, he was anti the system, whereas Pelé was very much part of the system. I don't think it's not really on us to say that he should have done more or like considering his background and what he achieved in life, but I think it's just kind of why I think people Maradona appealed to people more than I think Pelé did.
Yeah, well, that's Pelé. I think he was 82 and just a year older than Sir Alex. I assume they met many times. I've seen some pictures. And then the other news this week: Cristiano Ronaldo joining Al in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I guess we shouldn't have ever doubted it, right? That this was going to happen because he said he wanted to play in the Champions League and because he burnt every bridge with Piers Morgan and said in that Piers Morgan interview that no, he wants to play at top level. He wouldn't be going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't have a choice there, did he? Like, where else could he have gone?
Well, journalists over here in the US are saying that Sporting Kansas City were very close, made him a very attractive offer as a one of their designated players. I mean, look, there is an interesting reason why Ronaldo hasn't stepped foot in the US for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
So I have my doubts about whether that one would ever have happened. But, you know, MLS would be a good competition for him. He'd score bags of goals.
It would. I know quite a bit about Kansas City because they have a Hungarian manager and they have a Hungarian player who I'm reasonably close with who plays up top. And they're very much a system-based team. And they've been very carefully curated over many years. And that plonking Ronaldo into that, I mean...
would destroy that quite quickly.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a very interesting thing. I know nothing about Al Nassr, so I'm not sure if he's going to fit into their pressing system that they have there. Vincent Abubakar obviously plays over there. Absolute hero from the World Cup.
I know nothing about the team at all. I did some digging on. I was like, okay, let's try and understand how it works exactly. So the chairman of the club was previously the chairman of the Saudi Arabian FA and was appointed by one of the crown princes.
Yeah,
so I was like, okay, there's a straight line through from the crown prince, by the way, who's the deputy defence minister. So the military political football complex working well there. They, as ever, the regime and sport are very closely tied together. So this is clearly sanctioned from the highest level. This is about more than sporting performance. Mm-hmm. So, and that's why he's getting paid just an astronomical amount of money. Someone called it life-changing. And I was like, no, Ronaldo's probably got 500 million in the bank. He won't even notice it. So, I mean, it's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's going to change his lifestyle one bit.
I don't think so at all either.
No, he's clearly, this is the football secondary thing here. This is semi-retirement and an ambassadorial role ahead of the 2030 World Cup bid.
Mm-hmm.
So, where the Saudis will have both Messi and Ronaldo on their payroll.
Yeah, those Messi adverts were so weird. I don't know if anyone saw them during the World Cup, but he doesn't even look like it's him. He's like he's superimposed onto the head of someone. It's really weird. Messi gets away with it a lot, to be honest. He's got a lot of very dodgy sponsorship deals, Saudi being one, Qatar being another. I don't know how he's been able to manage the political divide there between the two, but he's been able to...
Well, they're all best buddies now, aren't they? You know, they were wearing half and half scarves during the World Cup, so...
Yeah. But yeah, Messi gets away with it a lot, but I suppose... And I'm sure Messi, when he gets to the end of his career, will be going to... Maybe not to Qatar or maybe not to Saudi, but his mate Xavi obviously went to Qatar. But Messi will be going to wherever the money's best towards the end as well.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely doesn't need it either. I don't think he signed that extra deal with Paris Saint-Germain, but the rumours were going around that he was about to sign an extra deal. And of course, there's been a lot of talk about MLS and Inter Miami and Messi's desire to be trained by Phil Neville.
Exactly,
just to round off the perfect career.
That would really top it all off, wouldn't it?
But Ronaldo, man, there was that thing that went around on Twitter with, I think it was Messi lifting the World Cup and Ronaldo with his new Al Nassr shirt, and it said the most brutal end to a sporting rivalry in history. I was like, yep.
It's all just falling down so fast this season. Like at the start of the season...
That one hits harder than a Greta Thunberg tweet, doesn't it? I mean, it's just, oh man. Yeah, one goal in the Premier League absolutely set fire to his legacy at Manchester United, and we'll be seeing out his career playing in the Saudi Arabian Premier League.
And a super embarrassing World Cup where he got dropped for a guy who scored a hat-trick in the next game, which is just wild.
Chef's kiss sweet, wasn't it?
Who's writing these narratives?
So obviously, I have no sympathy for the man because I don't like him because he's a massive narcissist and probably a criminal. But, you know, hey, not proven, never proven guilty, etc., and fully denied, etc., and so on. And then he just came back and ruined Manchester United. Just absolutely ruined the club. I mean, I know the club was doing a good job of doing that themselves as well, but he didn't help. And then just to go out the way he did, just burning everything when he could have just left in the summer.
Yeah.
Anyway, no sympathy. hopefully we won't see much of him. I'm now assuming he's just going to be the face of adverts, basically, and he'll play the odd game. I wonder whether he's even going to move there, whether he just flies in for the games.
Yeah, that's true. I've not even thought about that. Also, Al Nassr are not even in the Asian Champions League, so
they're not. They didn't qualify, although they're in a good position to qualify this season, so they're doing quite well until Ronaldo turns up and ruins their high pressing system.
Exactly. I think Vincent Abubakar was great fun in the World Cup, but I didn't think he was the most dynamic of strikers in the world. He's he's a bit of a poacher, so to have those two up front is going to be some interesting. And also, Abubakar thinks of himself really highly. I don't know if you heard the quotes before the tournament where he compared himself to Salah. And he says, Salah scores so many goals because he plays for a good club. So,
yes, he did.
I can imagine them two falling out quite quickly, to be fair.
That's the thing with football. There's loads of players who are absolutely brilliant who are just unfairly in League Two.
It
just happens all the time. Yeah, there's no meritocracy at all. Ronaldo, it works in the reverse as well. Ronaldo exactly where he should be. I think it's perfect for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck. There was football today.
There was.
It was dreadful.
Yeah, it wasn't the most exciting.
How does it happen? I mean, Julen Lopetegui is a good coach. He actually doesn't coach really boring sides at all. I mean, I think he's had some pretty good sides under his time. So, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. It's only his third game. But this was exactly the same pattern as every Manchester United versus Wolves game for what feels like the last century or so, wasn't it? Just awful. And Wolves dragging us down to their level, I think. I mean, you couldn't string past together for especially the first 45.
Yeah, Wolves are just, for almost their entire time they've been in the Premier League, have just been awful to watch. Like, they've never been good at scoring goals. They've actually been pretty good defensively almost throughout. And it was just the same again today. Like, it was the same every Man United Wolves game that we've had for the past 5 or 6 years. I think I heard a stat that something like the last 10 fixtures between the two clubs, like there's only been one goal decided either way. And we should have really changed that today. Like that Rashford disallowed goal is so annoying, especially when you compare.
So frustrating, isn't it?
When you compare that to Nathan Collins blocking the ball with his hand, when that is potentially going in the net. Yeah, why is that? And I think that's what Ten Hag was trying to make the point on the sideline. But it's like you can't argue because they are the rules. But the rules are stupid. That is the rule. Yeah,
rules are really stupid. The fact that you have at least 2 different handball rules. I mean, actually, it's more, isn't it? Because Nathan Collins, arm in natural position, therefore no penalty. Marcus Rashford, arm in natural position, therefore penalty because he scored it. But if he'd passed it and Bruno Fernandes had tapped it in on the goal line, it would have been a goal. That would have stood. Yeah. Because it's arm in natural position. I mean, there was one last season, wasn't there, was it Spurs? Where it was passed in the goal, but if Lloris had just let the striker score, it wouldn't have been a goal. If he just stood aside.
That is ridiculous.
It's madness that you get so many, like, it depends on the context and the position on the pitch, whether it's handball or not. And it makes it very difficult for fans to kind of understand and get along with it.
And you wonder in time, like, if a player it would require incredible speed of thought for Rashford to realise that the ball hit his hand. What would he do? Like, turn around, try and smash it off the Wolves defenders, try and get it in so it's an own goal. Like,
that would be a goal too.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
And any touch would be a goal.
And I don't understand the handball, the Nathan Collins one. I guess he can't really do anything about his arm, but his arm is making his body bigger because it's to the side. Yeah. If that happens on the goal line, that would be a handball, wouldn't it? I think. I don't think it has to because it's blocking.
Because denial of goal scoring opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got sent off this season playing at my level for the same thing because it happened on the line, and that's what the ref said to me.
Right.
I don't know how good the refs are at my level, so he might have just been making it up. But that's what my understanding is. If the ball's going in, like, I think. But
so that's 4 different handball rules we just
but also
in that 30-second segment.
What's to say that shot from, I can't remember who it was, that that wasn't going in anyway, because like it's going past him and potentially into the goal. So like, I don't know. The handball rule it's silly, is my hot take on this.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's not clean, and I'm not. It's not like it takes away from the entertainment, but it's unclear, and I think that creates confusion as a result. So a bit like the offside law, it could do with just being cleaned up a little bit, I think. Which they've tried to do with this natural unnatural position thing.
Yeah.
But as you say, Collins, his body is bigger. I mean, I know your arms are literally hanging off the side of your body, so they make things bigger, but still. Yeah. Anyway, before that, he's got a brilliant goal.
Yes.
After being chucked under the bus by Ten Hag in the pre-match interview, I thought.
It's very interesting. Apparently it's been confirmed that he was late for training, and that's why he got the discipline. I think that was report.
Probably feeding hungry kids. You don't want to do that. It's, not on Marcus. Yeah. Well, look, at least that's consistent, isn't it? From Ten Hag, Ronaldo, Garnacho, Rashford. Doesn't matter who you are. If you don't follow the rules, you're going to be dropped.
Yeah.
And he could have just said, "Oh, he's ill. He's got the virus. Everyone else had."
It is really
could have done.
Yeah, it is very interesting what he has done and been really forthright with it. I think Shaw came out afterwards. Shaw said some very interesting things after the game. Let me see if I can find it. It was along the lines of people have been okay. Here we go. People can't do whatever they want. Maybe that has been the problem in the past. People getting away with silly things, but the manager takes that into consideration. You saw today, if you don't keep standards high, you won't play. Which is very interesting to say about Marcus Rashford from Shaw, but I guess it's also maybe talking about himself there in many respects, because Shaw definitely hasn't kept standards high over the last few years, and I think he is right with what he says there, but it's bold of him to say that, and
he's very forthright in interviews, isn't he?
He always is.
Luke Shaw.
Yeah. Doesn't skirt around things.
Well, look, it's definitely helped that Rashford has come on and scored.
Yes.
I think and United won. It'll tamper down some of the debate, because if United had lost this game after Rashford had been dropped and publicly called out, I think it would have been a bit more toxic. I'm not saying it's a real problem, because at least it's consistent from Ten Hag. But yeah, if it was Jose, I think we might have a different take on that.
That is true.
Just call out my probable hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So my hypothetical hypocrisy here, but I probably would have been much more critical. But Ten Hag's got quite a lot of credit in the bank at the moment. I mean, that is 17 wins from 22. It's 5 wins in a row since Ronaldo last played for the club, which was in early November. We should probably at some point draw a line and say, this is the post-Ronaldo. We'll never talk about him again on this show.
That would be beautiful.
His name will therefore never be mentioned. He'll just be the Portuguese player.
Great for listeners and presenters alike, probably.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Yeah, it's like saying post Fergie era. We had to retire that one at some point, didn't we?
Yeah, but I think with Ten Hag, like, it was bold, and it does look in some terms that he kind of threw him under the bus, but it's played out perfectly. Really, it's kind of shown that Rashford, who is, for all intents and purposes, potentially our main player at the moment. You could argue with Casemiro.
Well, he is, yeah.
Casemiro and Varane are obviously two awesome figures in that team as well. But all the talk is around Rashford, and to drop him of all people is really bold. And then for Rashford obviously to come on and score, not look like he was like having a Mardy or having a Paddy, just playing in the same way he always does, have a massive smile on his face after scoring, have a hug with Ten Hag after the game. Like, it's kind of played out perfectly. And then I guess people in the future will, I guess the thing with also about being late is, in an ideal world, you want people to turn up early to train in. So it's kind of even more unforgivable if you're turning up late. It's like, come on, are you really committed? And I guess that's kind of what he's saying, is laying down the law. And in a bad way, in another world, like, we go and lose that game, De Gea doesn't get to Ruben Neves' free kick, he doesn't get to the header at the end from the corner, and there's a lot of talk, but it's just worked out perfectly.
In the end, it's worked out perfect. It has. Great goal as well. Just not only just how direct he is, and the 1-2, but how strong he is as well. because he is strong, but he doesn't use his body like that,
No.
or hasn't been. And I think that was just like, yeah, great. This is the best of Marcus. Exactly what we want. He's going to get a lot of goals if he does that as well. I mean, I know he's inconsistent with his finishing, but he gets into very dangerous positions.
Yeah.
And if he keeps doing that, if he stays fit, I touch everything, pray to whatever God you believe in that he stays fit. United really need him. He will get 20 goals this season. I mean, he's on 12 now. Across all competitions, and maybe he should be getting more with his talent. Yeah, really important, especially since Anthony Martial had one of his off days. I mean, I'd say 3 out of 4 games he actually plays it off, aren't they, probably? I mean, like 8 seasons now at United. I know we're all delighted he's fit because we need a number 9 because another one isn't coming in by the looks of it. But still, it was bad today, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think like you say about the strength of Rashford, like the tenacity that he's kind of playing with in those in that final third, like the tenacity with like just doing everything he can to hold off the defender in that for the first goal. The same with the second, like really like doing everything he can, putting all of his force into getting that shot away. There was another one earlier in the season where I just remember players almost like bouncing off him and holding them off. It's like the tenacity and the ferociousness that he has in the final third this season is really stark contrast to previous. And that's almost in stark contrast in many ways, like to Anthony Martial as well. Like Martial did nothing today, really. He dropped deep a couple of times to pick up the ball, but what did we see from him? And he also missed a massive chance with that header, which he fluffed to Anthony.
God, who fluffed his header too? Yeah, offside anyway, Anthony. But
Martial,
really
Martial
bad.
wasn't. If he just literally just connected with that header, anything like, he would have obviously put us one on
5-6 yards out, wasn't he? So it's deeply frustrating. I mean, the stats show. I mean, Rashford's expected goals is much higher playing off the left than it is through the centre, and double what it is when he plays off the right. He's just going to score more and assist more when he's playing off the left, and I think it's because he can be very direct and the pitch is all in front of him rather than when he's playing through the middle, when he sometimes has to play with his back to goal, or it's 2 versus 1, although in theory he can go both ways. It's not running into the channels that is really the big strength. He plays with space brilliantly, the ball in front of him. So I flip-flopped over the years on this one. I thought he could become a number 9, but I think he's just much more dangerous playing off the left where he comes inside, which means he needs someone to play off. And there are now no options other than Anthony Martial. That's it.
The thing with Rashford for me more than anything is kind of the back to goalness. Like we talked about his strength there and his tenacity, but for whatever reason he can't back into defenders. They just push him. And he's not good at he's just not good at that. He doesn't have the strength of.
Got to use his arse more.
He doesn't have one though, does he? He's almost like a straight line down. Whereas I don't know, your big lads of yesteryear who can just back in. Like I guess your Diego Costa, who was a shadow of himself today playing for Wolves.
Yeah.
He was obviously great at that, but he just doesn't look like he's made to be a striker in that regard. And like you say, when he's just facing forward, which you are most of the time as a left winger, he's just so much more impactful. And I almost think that debate's almost over now. Like you still hear it on TV. I think Michael Owen was talking about it on Prime the other day in midweek, and they were talking about, where is he best? But I almost think that ship sailed, and he just is best on the left. I think they interviewed him after the game, and he said that in as many words that I prefer to play on the left. I'm better on the left, and that
and there's no doubt about it.
And there's and it's just a problem. Like we don't have anyone who plays through the middle, and also I think that with Garnacho, Garnacho seems to be best off the left as well. He's going to be very difficult because of his frame to play through the middle, I think, as well.
I mean, it would not be a focal point. I mean, I think Garnacho could play through the middle with his directness and speed, but it'd be a very different style of forward there. And I think, if you look at Ten Hag's sort of history as well, he does like a forward in there. United should spend the money. I mean, if it proves to be the difference between finishing 3rd or 4th or not, it's worth the money. But of course, and I know United spent huge amounts in the summer, overpaid for Anthony in particular, which is now looking like, I mean, given his two performances in the past week or so, he's looking like a hell of a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the talent's there, but the application isn't yet. So, yeah, that's the thing that's going to stop United getting it forward, and that might be the difference between finishing in the top four or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it is squeaky bum time in there already, isn't it? Because the difference in quality between United, Spurs and Chelsea and Liverpool is minimal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably said this on the last pod. There just isn't a lot of difference, and so it's going to be really, really tight. And it looks like Chelsea are trying to bring in Enzo Fernandez. We'll see whether Benfica can resist that or not, but that would be a brilliant addition.
Yeah.
Liverpool have brought in Cody Gakpo. We know he scores goals. He's going to solve a bit of a problem they have with injuries to Jota and Diaz. I don't know. I don't think Spurs will spend, but Liverpool and Chelsea are both strengthening this winter. That gives them something of an advantage in that race for the top four. We don't know what Newcastle will do. I mean, obviously they've got unlimited funds to spend, unless the Saudis have run out of money. Now they've given it all to Ronaldo.
Yeah, that would have been very funny if Newcastle would have signed Ronaldo, but yeah, Celebi.
Jeez. Yeah, that's right. Stuck him in that green and white kit they've got.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, what else? Anything else we can call out from today's
I thought
game?
Luke Shaw again was excellent.
Luke Shaw, yeah, brilliant at centre half. I mean, I did look at that and I thought Diogo Costa versus Luke Shaw, that's not really fair as a challenge, but they didn't get the ball anywhere near him and he's just not. He's gone, isn't he? He hasn't scored in 9 games for Wolves.
Yeah, he doesn't look the same player at all.
No, he's not at all.
But I think he was playing in Brazil before this as well, so it seemed like a very odd signing, a kind of player who's past it very much. I mean, he even looked past it towards the end of his Atletico Madrid days as well, which, when was that? 2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, the last goal he scored was at Atletico Mineiro, so yeah. Sure, very comfortable again. Looks good passing out from the back as well. I mean, I don't know whether Harry Maguire is still sort of lingering illness and Victor Lindelof lingering injuries. They were both on the bench, so can't be that bad.
No,
but sure, just feels that sort of left side is very tenacious. Didn't get beaten in the air as far as I can remember. The passing maps, if you look at those, they're all De Gea, Shaw, Malacia. That's definitely the pattern.
He's made everything in the 2 games so far, and we obviously need to take into account the opposition. Like Wolves have scored the least goals in the Premier League. I think maybe Forest have scored the second least. Right. So we're not been playing against the big sides, but he has dealt with everything very comfortably. And I just like his body position in a lot of times. He can use his pace when a ball gets knocked over his head, like Maguire would be like stumbling after it. You can just imagine it. He has more agility than Maguire as well. Like you saw Maguire almost fall into the Stretford end when he got sold with that dummy against Emmanuel Dennis against Forest. Like Shaw hasn't done that at all. Like he's just been very comfortable. And I think he spoke about Varane being a great person beside him to chat him through the game. And like I say, the opposition have been quite poor, but he looked very solid. And like you say, in terms of coming forward, I know Maguire is good at coming forward with a lot of the time, but there's a calmness, a sureness, a cleanliness to the way that Shaw comes forward as well. And obviously being a left back, you're going to get that. So it's going to be one to watch. Like obviously Martinez is the person to come back in. I don't think Malacia had the greatest game today going forward. I think he, in terms of cleanliness, doesn't have a lot of that with his passing. I think he's tenacious going backwards. It's just going forwards. I think sometimes I think Shaw is better at that. So I think it just kind of makes sense to just bring Martinez and then Shaw. But it's a good option to have. And I didn't think that would be the case, to be honest. And it might show up against a better team, obviously, but it's done well.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive instincts are there. The problem would be the ball that's played in the space between his area of the pitch, his zone, and Malacia's zone. The Wolves just didn't do that at all. And so that would not be a defensive action that Shaw is used to facing. Yeah. And I guess it just sounds a bit Graham Souness to say, well, something in the air, because we've seen Luke Shaw struggle at the back post in the past. It's not like that's a new thing to say. not just about his height. I mean, Wikipedia tells us that Luke Shaw is 6'1", famously, adding a few inches to his Wikipedia page. Every time it gets edited to be more accurate, to be like 5'10" or whatever he really is, he goes in there and changes it again, doesn't he? You know?
It's probably got an alert.
It's probably got an alert on it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Go! I will be 6'1". But anyway, yeah, as soon as Martinez has had weeks of training and they've done some blood tests to work out exactly how much alcohol he drank. So he was asked, actually, Ten Hag, in the pre-match press conference, is Martinez still drunk? And he was like, no, I don't think so. So, yeah, we'll see how much time he needs. But I presume he'll be back in the side and Shaw will be back at left back. On the other side, I mean, as soon as Diogo Dalot is fit again, Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be out the side. Not because he's done anything wrong defensively. Actually, he's done
I think he's done well.
I think in the last 2 games. It's the attacking output. There's just nothing there. At all. It's not just like how many assists he gets. It's how much he manages to progress the ball, either through running or passing into the final third. And it's almost nothing. Yeah. Like, so it's just a negative. And especially with Anthony being so inconsistent on that side of the pitch, I really do think Dalot, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think he is a much more important player to United than Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I mean, Dalot even displaced Cancelo at the World Cup for Portugal.
Yeah,
and I can't believe I'm saying it either, but he has been really good this season. I think United. I was thinking this throughout the game today that I saw the stat that we haven't lost any points from winning positions this season, and I think that kind of speaks to the team that we have. We still have a team that's kind of set up for counter-attacking, I think, in the fact that when we had the ball today, there was long periods of the game where we just didn't look like we were going to create anything. We didn't look particularly vulnerable defensively, but as soon as we went 1-0 up, the players, there are types of players in that team who really come into their own, like Anthony, who's really good at times at tracking his man. There was one where Aït-Nouri almost would have been through, but Anthony tracked him all the way and did excellently. And he's tenacious in his defensive work. I know he got criticised.
He's good defensively.
He got criticised for that earlier in the United season when he just stuffed, I think it was the City game, where he got criticised quite heavily, but he's good at that. And as I was saying about Malacia, that he's really good defensively. It's just going forward, he's not that great. And then obviously Wan-Bissaka today, like you've got Fred, who was on the pitch towards the end, who's again similar, Casemiro. And it's just like when we have a lot of the ball, we don't particularly look like scoring that often. But defensively, we look really solid and good. And every time we go into a lead, it doesn't really look like we're going to throw it away. I know they had a chance with the header from the corner, but that's a set piece. But from open play again, and I know it's Wolves, they don't score many goals, but it's quite encouraging in that respect.
I think United built a lot of control, which is obviously what Ten Hag wants, and Casemiro is obviously brilliant with that. Eriksen's efficient with the ball in midfield, but he's not creating a lot of chances from that position. Bruno is creating a lot of chances, although it felt like I didn't think he was that good today.
No, a bit off it.
I haven't seen the number of chances he created, but before today's game, he was second only to Kevin De Bruyne in chances created in the Premier League. So he's not scoring, but as he said himself in the interview in midweek, he said his all-round game's better, and I agree with that, right? He's playing in a slightly deeper sort of double eight, a little bit further forward than Eriksen. But it's so United can gain some control, but there is a bit of a trade-off there. It'd be interesting, again, like bringing the forward in, it's not just about the goals the forward might score, but how the team plays around him as well. And I just don't know if there's enough confidence in Martial that he's going to keep the ball when he's got the ball, because he doesn't really. That players can gamble on that and like get really close to him. So it would make a big difference, I think. I do wonder whether, there's also talk again about Frenkie de Jong being available if Barcelona might let him go. I know he's played a lot for Barcelona this season, but again, he would give United a lot of control and he progresses the ball fantastically well. So, speculating, of course, because there's no money in the kitty and United aren't going to spend a big amount, it seems, this winter. But yeah, definitely a problem. And it could be the difference between making the Champions League and not making the Champions League. And that is well worth the spend. So
I'm just thinking, obviously we need a striker. Ronaldo's gone to Al Nassr. Maybe Vincent Abubakar is free.
yeah. He's got the confidence and he likes a chip.
Yes.
Or a scoop.
That was a beautiful scoop as well, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very nice. We saw Donny van de Beek for 10 minutes, and I mention him only so I can bring up this tweet, which I think is a magnificent piece of commentary from Steve Vandella on Twitter. It says, Donny van de Beek, also known as Schrodinger's midfielder, an elaborate European thought experiment in which it's impossible to know whether he's actually on the pitch or not until you see him walking off at the end of the game, which is very true, although you can also tell he's on the pitch because he gives the ball away every time he gets it. It's the subtle clue you got to look out for, but yeah, completely pointless. I was going to say human, that's unfair. Completely pointless footballer, just waste of time.
I think it was Gilberto Silva called Casemiro the invisible man at the World Cup because he does all the difficult stuff with ease. Whereas that's surely Donny van de Beek. He's got to be the invisible man.
Truly invisible.
Literally.
Yes.
Even his own players don't
by the
see
way,
him because it's like, should we give him the ball? Probably not.
No, not worth it. Andy Townsend on NBC commentary, commentating co-coms with friend of the show, Stuart Gardner.
Yeah, I was watching on the United. I was watching on that feed and it was interesting. I didn't realise he did that.
Yeah.
Did the
the first time I'd actually heard him. It might be a new gig, so maybe he's done other non-United games. Yeah. I thought he kept it fairly neutral.
It was very weird hearing that. Like, obviously, used to him just doing the MUTV thing. So, yeah,
exactly. Anyway, Townsend said, Casemiro, will we really see it in the big games? That's 5 times Champions League winner Casemiro. Doesn't do it in the big games. I mean, congratulations for your take.
The other 10 players have done very well in those 5 Champions Leagues to make up for the fact that Casemiro has never played one in a big game.
Just ridiculous. Anyway, it's not one that's going to make the Football Cliches pod for commentating of the year. But anyway, by the way, the Football Cliches end of the year special, 2-part special, is just absolutely perfect. A1, should be top of your podcast feed. Great stuff. Not being paid to say it, just great entertainment.
It is always a great show, that show. Perfect.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right. Got anything else? Any other thoughts?
No, I think this is just good, encouraging to keep the momentum going, really, especially as like you say, the Rashford thing really could have turned a little bit sour. Not incredibly sour, but a little bit like you've left the milk in the fridge for too long. But it didn't. Yeah. And we've kept the momentum going. We've got another win, another clean sheet. So happy days, really. Next game is Everton in the FA Cup in a week's time or so. But there's no midweek game this week, which is a weird thing to say. Used to games every other day. Yeah.
But no midweek game. Everton in the Cup. Everton, who are absolutely dreadful.
Yes. Lost to Wolves as well in the last game.
Just how can you lose to Wolves?
Wolves scored 2 goals in that game. 2.
Wow, just that's how bad Everton are. Frank Lampard, I mean, I know he is a joke, obviously, and the world is seeing it, but he seriously only gets jobs because he used to be England's Frank Lampard, right? There's just nothing else about him.
It's like him and Gerrard. If are they really going to get jobs after this? They will. I ask, will they? They will. Of course they will. And then you get people on TalkSport like, I guess, an impartial guy like Harry Redknapp going on TalkSport and going, but he did a really good job at Chelsea. He did a good job at Derby. He took them from 6th to 6th, and he got Everton involved in a relegation scrap. And he'll get.
I mean, the thing is, I don't see where Everton are going to score that many goals. I mean, they're pretty bad at the back. I mean, Tarkowski's a decent player. Yerry Mina's never been the player he promised to be. Midfield, they're not very good anymore. And then up front, Mopé, McNeil and Gordon, there's no goals coming there.
That is terrible.
I mean, Dwight McNeil, who got 1 assist all last season, no goals and 1 assist. Neil Mopé, he really can't score. I mean, when Brighton are dumping you for not scoring
The thing is, at Brighton, they were creating so many chances and he was just missing them all.
Yeah. And Anthony Gordon, who looks like a piece of bad business for Everton, turning down that bid from Chelsea. I mean, he may come good, and I'm being unfair because he looks like he's got some talent, but no confidence.
Yeah, at least he has a little bit of talent compared to the other two. Like the other two are just championship fodder, really. I mean, their team is really bad, actually. Like you think about under Ancelotti, what was that, 3 seasons ago? They looked like a potential bet for the top 4, and they've disintegrated so quickly.
I mean, they're fully in the relegation fight. I mean, as we speak, they're playing City, so let's just assume they lose that
5-0.
But they're right there. They're a point above Wolves and Forest.
Yeah, and I thought Wolves did okay today, and obviously they beat Everton. I think Wolves under Lopetegui will be probably fine. Mateus Cunha is a really good signing for them, I think, as well.
He is. What doesn't score bags of goals, but is a
real live wire. And I think we did well to win that game today because they were always going to have a new manager bounce under Lopetegui, who's a very intense guy. Another good win to get out of the way. It was like, oh God, why did they have to have him? The fixtures go like that, so we play them so quickly after a new manager bounce, but we didn't. I think Wolves will probably be fine, but I think Everton really need to get rid of Lampard sooner rather than later so they can get their own new manager bounce and get a proper manager in rather than just some Burke who used to play football for.
Yeah. I mean, no, you're totally right. And I mean, there's just nothing about Lampard. He's got no real charisma. He's pulls out the same formula for every interview. Has been well documented on the internet. Serious joke, serious. He's achieved nothing at any of the clubs he's been at of any note. You can point to any progression in players and or team. I think get rid of him. By the way, just a mention for Lopetegui attire today.
I saw that
brown roll neck, bold. I'd say bold.
Yeah, I saw that was going on around a lot on Twitter. Actually, is attire. Spanish managers in general, like Guardiola's got a very interesting attire on the sideline as well. Interesting. Guardiola
has that penchant for wearing like overly distressed jeans. Like they're too light and they've been too distressed.
Sometimes cargo pants as well.
And the kind of distressing that he's not worn it a long time. They're just like 500 pound pairs of jeans. Yeah. Anyway, Lopetegui, good coach. Bad choice of role.
Maybe that's where Lampard's going wrong. He needs to change up the attire, and it might make him a better manager because 2 managers we spoke about are good managers.
No, maybe we can ease him into retirement with a win in the cup. It would be nice, wouldn't it, to win the FA Cup? I mean, I know we say this every year, but it's been a while.
Yes, it would be. To be honest, it'd be nice to just win a trophy. Yes.
We're not counting what do they call it? The Champions Cup? The one we won in Thailand in pre-season?
Yeah. Big win.
Massive trophy, literally. Massive.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll leave it there. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Listeners, we'll catch you again after Everton. Bye now.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.